This week on the Step into Freedom podcast, I want to talk about being faithful to you. When you think about being faithful and the person you are most faithful to, do you come to mind? Chances are the answer is no, not at all. So, I want to talk about why we as women are faithful to our spouse, we're faithful to our family, our children, our coworkers, our employers. But then when it comes to keeping our word to ourselves, we make it acceptable to say one thing and do another. Why is that? And more importantly, what is the impact of saying one thing and doing another? At the time of this podcast, this is day one of 2020. And if you're like me, you're excited about the possibilities of the year ahead and excited about what you can create, who you can become, what you can change, all that you could leave behind in 2019. But the reality is, 9 out of 10 of us will not have a new year. The majority of us will have what I call a continuation year. Continuation of the habits that support results we don't want. We will most likely be unfaithful to ourselves. And so when I stopped and thought about this and this whole concept, for me personally, this concept of being faithful to myself was born across from my divorce attorney many, many years ago with my first marriage. And I can remember just crying. I was like sobbing because I could not wrap my mind around the idea that in spite of all of my hard work, reading everything I could under the sun about recovering from infidelity and turning your marriage around, that in spite of all of that work, I was going to be getting a divorce. And then all of that sadness turned to anger. And I started thinking, where was my faithfulness to myself? Where was my faithfulness to that voice inside that said, Cledra, do one thing, but I did another? Where was that faithfulness to that nudging of what I know now was the Holy Spirit to open my eyes to behaviors that I was willing to just kind of turn my head and not pay attention? And that's when I adopted this thought of faithfulness to self, to your true self. Because we all have that true self. It's that part of us that we want to say no to something, but because we don't want to make someone, or we're afraid of how someone may think about us, we say yes, and we're not faithful to our true self. So this month in the Freedom Academy is all about learning how to be faithful to you, how to retarget those thoughts that you have to be aligned to your true self, and not the self that you want everyone to like or the self that your family has told you you should be. But it's all about that alignment to you. So if you want more about how to be faithful to you, I invite you to join the Freedom Academy this month. You and I are going to be talking about not only why you're unfaithful to you and understanding the brain's perspective, the neuroscience behind why we make choices that we know are not the best choices for us, but we do it anyway. You're going to understand yourself. And in understanding yourself, you're going to increase your ability to be faithful to you. All right. I can't wait to see you in the academy. Be faithful to you, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.